Good morning. So we are discussing stones, in which we are seeing different fashion in which the rubble or the granite pieces of stone, boulders, are arranged. Stone is often used for road construction. Lot of amount of stone is used for road construction, as it's we told you subgrade, compacted subgrade, base, subbase, bearing course. Everywhere, stones are used. Only thing that the sizes of the stone will vary. Huge boulders will be at the lowest part, then going on reducing the sizes, coming to a minimum size at the top. Usually the stones will have sizes, huge boulders, having very great, very large size. Then you just break them into pieces manually or mechanically. The maximum size is 80 mm. 80 mm aggregate, coarse aggregate. 80, 40, 20 are the usual sizes of aggregate. 60 is also there. 80, 60, 40, 20 mm boulders. They are you employed in construction either in the foundation or flooring, basement, for concreting, for road work, for paving. Use the stone. Then you have small sizes, still less than 20 mm, a 6 mm, 6 mm. They are called baby. Colloquially, the aggregates are called metal, even though they are not literally the metal, they are called as metals. So they are called baby metal. When the aggregate size is around 6 mm, that is also employed nowadays in concreting. That is called a baby metal. So huge boulders in 80 mm, 60 mm, 40 mm, 20 mm, 6 mm. These are the ranges, sizes of stone. Stone has got good abrasion resistance. Good abrasion resistance. So it can stand wear and tear. Reasonable wear and tear. So hardness of stone is satisfactory for road constructions. You can see the stone slabs laid around the huge temples, churches, mosques. You can see paving. So the stone can be used as slabs also. Stone slabs used in walkways. Stone slabs. Then you have polished granite stones, natural stone, polished granite stones. For flooring, you are using it. For flooring, you have different. One type is polyphoritic granite. Polyphoritic granite. You have grains, mosaic, just like mosaic. It's not mosaic, it's mosaic grains. You have huge slabs, say size of around 1.5 meter by 30 or 40 centimeters, having a thickness of half an inch, 1.5 centimeter. You have granite slabs. These granite slabs are employed for kitchen tops, for flooring, sometimes for walling also. For walling also, when the thickness of the slab is less, you can use it for walling also. They are easily maintainable. You have got different color combinations, from very dark black, jet black to white, pure white granites. For architectural rendering, granites are used. You give granite covers, granite paneling for huge columns with the granite topping. So that is another application of granite stone. Even though it is also igneous, it is polished. Usually you get in the state of Rajasthan, get lot of granite. Then another type of stone is Kadapa stone. It's taken as a slab, usually in the state of Andhra Pradesh. You have you know, natural stone slabs. It can be. Similarly, you have marble stone slabs also. Marble stone slabs. So flooring can be either granite or marble. You would have seen pink marbles, white marbles. Then shaded marbles with designs, natural designs in the marble. There are temples in North India totally made of marble. Even deities are with marble. Then when the aggregates are used at different parts of the construction, stages of construction for different purposes. And stone plays a very important role. Igneous rock. Then another material used for construction we will take in that way, nature stone, is the sand. Sand. So sand, you get it from river sand. Usually sea sand will not be used because it is saline. Saline environment is not good for construction. Especially it will harm the steel due to corrosion. Steel will get corroded in saline environment. So sea sand will not be advocated for construction, but river sand is very versatile for so many purposes, including filtering of water. But nowadays you have legislative constraints, legislative rules, laws by which you cannot take dredge sand from the riverbed. Sand mining is an offense. So, alternatives for sand research is going on, and one such alternative is M sand, manufactured sand, M sand. So again, this siliceous sand has been nowadays replaced by an igneous sand, because M sand is again powdering the baby metal. We told up to 6 mm. If that 6 mm is again powdered, then you get from the factory manufactured sand and M sand. In between the sand and M sand, you have the quarry dust. Quarry dust is nothing but during the process of disintegrating the rock, especially by explosives, there will be lot of very fine particles coming out of and getting settled on the quarrying site. These quarrying site will be having a lot amount of this powder, and that powder is called quarry dust. Quarry dust has been employed in the construction field as a substitute for river sand. But once the amount of quarry dust is not sufficient and the grain size is not definite, a well-ordered grain size distributed sand is crushed, is obtained by crushing from the factory, which is known as M sand. M sand is a substitute for river sand. Research is going on how far you can substitute M sand, how far you can substitute quarry dust in the construction in place of river sand. Sand has two grain sizes. One is coarse sand, another is called fine sand. Coarse sand and fine sand. The purpose of coarse sand and fine sand are different. The maximum size of coarse sand is 4.75 mm. So please see the grain size for Baby Mango was 6 mm. Now the coarse sand is 4.75 mm. Then the sizes will go on changing to 2.36 mm, 1.13 mm, half of that almost, 600 microns, 300 microns, 150 microns, 75 microns. 1 micron is 0.001 mm. 1 micron is 0.001 mm. So up to 2.36, 1.13, 600, up to that is a coarse sand. 600 and below, you can classify as fine sand. So coarse sand and fine sand according to the grain sizes, the maximum grain sizes. And the total sand grain sizes vary from 4.75 mm to 75 mm. If you have the proper representation of all grain sizes, if you have the proper proportionate grain size available in a lot of sand starting from 4.75 mm to 75 micron, then it is called a well-graded sand or well-graded aggregate. A well-graded sand or a well-graded aggregate. If any size is missing, you have certain sieve sizes, you have each country will have a standard specification, codes, building standard codes, they will specify the sizes. For aggregates, you have Bureau of Indian Standards in India, Bureau of Indian Standards 2386, part 1 to part 4. Bureau of Indian Standards 2386, part 1 to part 4. Various tests on aggregates and their specifications. So if any size, the sieve size, any size of the aggregate is missing, any one or two or three sizes are missing, then it is called a gap graded aggregate. Well graded aggregate, gap graded aggregate. In a lot of sand or aggregate, if all the sizes are almost the same, then it is called uniformly graded aggregate. Uniformly graded aggregate. Uniformly aggregate, maximum the representation will be with the same size of the aggregate. If some size of aggregates along the sieve is missing, it is gap graded. All representation proportionately is existing, well graded. For construction purpose, well graded aggregate is preferred because the smaller sizes will go into the interstices of the larger sizes. When you compact, when you pressure, those things will come in the construction aspect. When you mix them together, the smaller will go to the larger gap, the gap between the larger particles. So the voids will be less. A well graded aggregate, the voids will be less, by which the density of that compactness and load resisting capacity will be less. So well graded aggregates will be less permeable, will be more impermeable. The voids will be less, so there will be more denser and load carrying capacity will be more. Well graded. Uniformly graded is an example of poorly graded. Poorly graded aggregate is you have random size distributions, haphazard distribution of sizes among all the sieves. That is poorly graded. Uniformly aggregate will be useful for certain purpose, but you cannot say that it is a good combination. It is poorly graded. So we will continue by God's grace next week. Thank you. God bless.